This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
I was watching TV with my husband, and
cool
there
story.
was Well, there was this woman on TV, and she's like, "I'm a recovering people pleaser."
Oh.
And I looked at my husband. I'm like, "Wait a minute, I'm a people pleaser. Should I be in recovery?"
And then he's like, "This is your intervention."
Yes. And then people started coming out, all the family members. No, but like, should I be taking, I don't know, like classes? Should I be going to courses, meetings?
I didn't know that people sort of try to recover from people pleasing, but you are a people pleaser.
Well, that's what my husband said. He's like,
Yeah.
"Well, remember what happened on the plane?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah."
What happened on the plane?
So we were separated. We weren't actually able to sit together. So I was going to my seat, and I had a window seat. When I got to my seat, there was somebody already sitting in my seat.
Sitting in your window seat?
Yes, they were supposed to be in the middle seat. So I said, "Oh, I think you're in my seat." So I said something, and she looked at me. She looked at the seat. She kind of like brushed it off, like shrugged her shoulders, and was like, "I'm not sitting there."
Like, oh, what's the big deal?
Yeah. And then I was like, "Okay." I'm like, "It's no big deal.
That is a big deal.
We could just switch seats."
Can I ask how long was the flight?
3 hours.
Oh, that's a big deal. Even if it's an hour to New York, I'm like, I checked in early so I could get the aisle or the window. I'm not taking the middle.
I mean, whatever. I was just like, there's people behind me. I still have to put my luggage up above. Everybody's staring at me. I've already said to her, "You're in my seat." I've already created a bit of a scene.
But you're entitled to say that.
I know. So then I just sat down. I was like, whatever. It's not a big deal. So I sat down. And then I feel like my pants are getting wet. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I kind of get up. And then the woman on the other side of me goes, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "I think there was something on the seat." And I'm like, okay.
Something?
So this woman didn't sit there because there was something on the seat, took my seat, and then didn't even warn me before I sat down to sit in the thing. And who knows? Like, is it a drink? Is it something that was left
I would
over
hope it's
from
just water.
Yeah, who knows?
So then at that point you switch seats.
No. So then I just sat there in my wet pants.
You stayed in the wet middle seat that you didn't book for 3 hours.
Yeah, well, I grabbed my jacket and then I just put it underneath me so that I wouldn't continue to
Thereby
get wet.
ruining your jacket as well with the mystery liquid.
Yes.
Pooch.
What was I supposed to do? I'm telling? I should have went and got the flight attendant?
Yes, you press the button. You already
Press
asked.
the button? That's so aggressive.
Yeah, but you've already asked. It's not like you're doing that first. You tried to talk to her like a normal human being. She blew you off, which was extremely rude. You call a flight attendant and say, "I'm sorry, excuse me, she's in my seat." And you make the switch. That's what they're there to do. They're like the referees.
I just didn't want to create a scene. I just wanted, it was fine. Like, it doesn't matter. It's just a seat. It was like, it's not a big deal.
Okay, your people pleasing is a problem, and this is your intervention. Are you a people pleaser? That's what we want to know. Let's go to the phone. Shauna from Curtis, are you a people pleaser like Pooja?
I am not.
Oh.
I'm literally in my car yelling at the fact that she didn't get the flight attendant and get that girl to move from her seat.
Oh. Shauna, have you watched any of the videos that go viral of the confrontations that happen on planes when people just lose their minds?
I do.
I didn't want that to happen.
Passenger shaming.
That. You paid for that seat.
Thank you.
Pre-booked that seat.
Thank you.
You did all the things you were supposed to do to have a comfortable flight. It's her fault that she didn't.
And it's the equivalent of like the kid in class is like flicking you in the ear behind you, and instead of dealing with the kid who's in the wrong, you just raise your hand, you call the teacher, you get the teacher to sort it out. The flight attendant is a teacher.
I don't love confrontation, and I'll avoid it if I can, but there are some situations, that one in particular, not going to happen.
A lot of text coming in at 981-981. Pooja, I don't know if you're going to love this. That's not people-pleasing, Pooji. That's conflict avoidance.
Yeah,
There's one
that's
text.
probably true. I don't like confrontation.
Totally with Gurdeep on this. I would have been upset if someone was in my window seat because you actually pay more for a window seat. Carolyn texting and say, "Morning, Pooj. Come on, girl. You got to come on, girl." I'm picturing it with a snap. It says, "I used to be the same, otherwise known as a doormat. I woke up and realized that people use you. No more. All it does is tell people their bad behavior is totally acceptable. No more, Pooja.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Well, you know me well, Gurdeep. Do you think I'm a doormat?
Not at all. In
No.
fact, you are good at having hard conversations. That's one of the things I love about you.
I think it has to be important to me. That's really what this boils down
This
to.
just
is
doesn't, I get it. This just doesn't matter enough. So you're
doesn't
like,
matter.
whatever, let's just avoid a conflict.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up on the Instagram account passenger shaming.
Yes. Oh, you know that girl from the Pooja and Gurdeep show? You know what she did on a plane? Yeah, there's also that.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
It has been 30 years this week since we lost the great John Candy, and I cannot believe that.
I know. And he was in some of my favorite movies growing up.
His IMDb is crazy. There's just so many good movies, and I know he's known as like a funny actor, but man, that guy could make you feel things. He could make you
Yes.
sad. He could make you happy. He could make you cry. He did it all. The guy
He was
so
so
good.
talented.
Do you, in terms of where you were when you heard the news, I remember this was 1994. And I'd just gotten on the school bus to go home from school, and we were sitting on the bus, and the radio was on, and we heard it on the radio on the school bus, and I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe, because at that point, it's like you're thinking Uncle Buck, Home Alone, all the Great Outdoors, all these movies.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe the news. What about you, Bossman Blair? Where were you?
I was working at another radio station in town up on Yonge and St. Clair, and we got the news, and everybody sort of sprung into action. I went to the Blockbuster video store around the corner and rented as many John Candy movies as we could, and then started pulling audio from it. So you had to go through and manually tape it and then put them on these little devices called carts or whatever, so we could play audio throughout the rest of the afternoon.
How times have changed, because the clips you're about to hear, Blair pulled off YouTube in about 30 seconds. Pooj, your favorite? Actually, you know what? Let's let people try and recall these scenes. How about that?
Where do you live?
In the city.
Do you have a house?
Apartment.
On a rent?
Rent.
What do you do for a living?
Lots of things.
Where's your office?
I don't have one.
How come?
I don't need one.
Where's your wife?
Don't have one.
How come?
It's a long story.
Do you have kids?
No, I don't.
How come?
It's an even longer story.
Are you my dad's brother?
What's your record for consecutive questions asked?
38.
Macaulay Culkin playing
Yes.
Miles in Uncle Buck with
What
John
a
Candy.
great scene.
Another great scene in that movie, and obviously it's more visual, is when he's dancing with Marcy.
Oh my
and
goodness!
Shanice comes
and then
and
Shanice
she
comes
catches
in,
him.
and he just keeps dancing, but he slows down. So ridiculous.
It just makes me laugh. What about for you?
Okay, I mean, there's so many. I'm going to go with this one, co-starring Bill Pullman and Daphne Zuniga.
Ah, that's my name. Barf.
Barf? What are you?
I'm a Mog. Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
That's John Candy in Spaceballs.
And we should say that Bossman Blair is the biggest John Candy fan, has every line of every movie memorized. So why don't we play yours?
Okay.
Top of the morning, officer. Is there something I can help you with?
What the hell are you driving?
We had a small fire last night, but we caught it in the nick of time.
You have any idea how fast you were going?
Funnily enough, I was just talking to my friend about that. Our speedometer's melted, and as a result, it's very hard to say with any degree of accuracy exactly how fast we were going.
78 miles an hour.
78, huh? Well, yeah, I could buy that, sure, I guess. You would know better than us, especially since we got a melted speedometer.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. There's so many good lines in that one. Steph, let's fire up your clip.
Sorry, folks, park's closed. The moose out front should have told you.
Yes, we're here to see Mr. Roy Wally.
What is your name, sir?
Clark W. Griswold.
What's this regarding, Mr. Grizzle?
We're here for public amusement relations, or a summer inspection to a personal matter.
Well, nobody notified this office of anything.
I love all of his movies. I couldn't pick one, and then you guys had the ones that I like too. And Great Outdoors, I love too. So many lines from that one too. That makes you have all the feels in that one.
100%. Brewster's Millions also underrated.
He was so good.
John Candy, we missed you. He would have been 73 years old this year.
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Toronto. Happy birthday to you.
And many more.
Are you one? Are you two? Okay.
That's going to take the whole show.
We'll be here for a while.
Toronto, or Toronto if you're a visitor, 190 190.
190. I think we look pretty good. We're aging well,
Don't
gracefully.
look a day over 160. You can barely see our potholes. We cover them up with foundation.
No, it's Botox.
Yeah,
So you know.
Botox in the potholes?
Yes.
That might work, actually. We should try that. That
We
might be a
should.
better use for Botox.
It might be better. And look, for all of the complaining we do about our city, at the end of the day, we all love Toronto, don't we?
We complain about it. Everyone complains about it. And you're not a Torontonian unless you complain about it. But truth be told, there's nowhere I'd rather be. There's
Yeah.
nowhere else I'd want to live.
You know how I know this? We often talk about vacation and going away somewhere.
You talk about vacation. We talk about vacation.
Right. I talk about vacation and you talk about a vacation. But when you're away somewhere, sometimes, I don't know, do you ever ask yourself, could I live here? Could I do this? And sometimes you convince yourself you could. And then you get on the plane and you're coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see the CN Tower.
Yep.
And it's that whole, like, on the plane, and you have that feeling rush over you of, I'm home.
You get to Pearson, you hop on the 427 to get home,
Yeah.
and you're like, you know what? This is nice.
Yeah.
I
And
like being home.
that is really my love story to Toronto is every time I come back, I'm like, nope, I don't want to live anywhere else. I want to live here.
Oh, that's your Toronto love story.
Yeah.
Take that, Paul.
Yeah.
Ouch. Okay.
All right. I guess I also met my husband
You
in
met
Toronto.
Paul at an amazing night out on the town, King Street West.
Yeah.
The elevator opened up at the opportune time. Time slowed down, and your story is landing at Pearson. Wow. Okay.
Well, I mean, he's part of why I love Toronto. So
There
there's
we go.
that.
I
but
sincerely hope he's not listening right now.
do you have a love story
I
for
have
Toronto?
many, and I'm going to go with Toronto sports captivating my imagination as a kid. I'm going to go with October 23rd, 1993.
Oh.
Joe Carter, Philadelphia Phillies, off Mitch Williams, in the left field. I was 10 years old. I didn't fully understand the gravity of it or what it meant to win a world. I'm like, oh, we win the World Series every year. This is what we do.
Yeah.
No, you don't realize as a 10-year-old how rare and special this is. I'm going with May 12th, 2019. Kawhi Leonard, the shot.
Oh, yes.
Also against Philadelphia, by the way, just like Joe Carter's home run.
Oh, interesting.
I'm going with the Nikolai Borshevsky goal in 1993 from Doug Gilmour to beat the Detroit Red Wings. I'm 10 years old. This is what, it sounds cheesy, but it's like the happiest I've ever been, and this is actually what made me fall in love with sports, fall in love with the city, and honestly, get into media, because I started as a sports journalist, you know.
Oh, my. Okay,
And
hold on. So
I love my Toronto sports.
your Toronto sports, your love for Toronto sports, even though they torture you the way they have.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Okay.
Getting some really nice texts coming in.
This one is my Toronto love story is the concerts, either Budge Stage with the planes from Billy Bishop taking off or at the Rogers Center with the roof open. Nothing like a concert when the roof is open.
I have been lucky enough to be present for both of those experiences, like early summer Budweiser stage, nice summer night, planes, water, everything. It's perfect. You can't get better.
So nice.
This text coming in, Sam from Barrie saying, my husband and I had our first kiss at sunset atop the CN Tower. Come on. That's
so
like
nice.
storybook fairy tale stuff.
Okay, let's take some of your calls as well. Megan from Pickering, what's your Toronto love story?
I'm actually from Quebec, so I used to come to Toronto for work, and I fell in love with the city. I absolutely fell in love. So when I was 24, I decided I don't really know anybody there, and I'm just going to move and see what happens. And that was 9 years ago. Now I have 2 kids. I met my kid's father. I've met so many friends. Also, Toronto has the same birthday as my son, who's 1 year old today.
Oh, nice.
Happy birthday to your son. That's awesome.
Megan, I love your story because there are so many people who come from other parts of Canada to Toronto, and often they don't like it at first. It takes a while, right? It takes about 2 years, I've found, for people to really settle in and understand and appreciate what the city is all about. Because it's tough at first, right? Making friends, all those things. But you felt it right away.
I feel like it was a really easy city to get to know because I was living in Montreal before, very complicated. And people are so friendly.
Megan, thanks so much for the call. We love that. This text coming in, Doug from Hamilton. What's your Toronto love story? He says, my Toronto love story is cultural diversity, the festivals and the food. Also, Pooja and Gurdeep, you guys make me happy. Well, thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug. And he's so right about the food. I go to New York and people are like, oh, the food's so good here. I'm like, nah, better in Toronto.
That's our collective hot take for the day. Toronto's food, better than New York.
Yes.
You said it.
Yep. Bill from Brantford, Ontario, saying not from Toronto, but was lucky to have Leafs season tickets several years, was at the game that Daryl Sittler had his 10-point game.
What?
Red seats were $10 then.
Okay, he's just rubbing it in now. He's at a 10-point game and $10 Reds? Are you kidding me? You can't even get a beer for $10 now. How about this one here? Both my husband and I are pilots who We always would meet in Toronto. He was from Vancouver Island, and I'm from the East Coast. We met many times over the years, married 18 years now. I guess the airport Sheridan is the true love story, but maybe stick to the G version in Toronto.
Yes. I love that love story.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Let's go to Mississauga. Linda, what's your Toronto love story?
I was born at 208 Queen Street, right across from Much Music.
Oh, nice.
Oh, no way.
And my favorite time was hanging with my best friend, Mary, and we would go to Chinatown.
Nice.
So you kind of grew up in downtown Toronto. I mean, that's quite an experience.
And then I grew up later life in Regent Park.
Oh, okay. So you've lived in, like, the whole thing with Toronto is people say, oh, what's it like or where should I stay? Like, Toronto is very much a city of small neighborhoods stitched together. Like, you walk 2 blocks and it's a completely different vibe from where you were, whether you're in Kensington Market or City Place or St. Lawrence Market or Regent Park, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you so much for that, Linda, and happy birthday, Toronto. Do we get Lupe?
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast
welcome to Can't Beat Gurdeep.
on 98.1 CHFI.
Natasha from Fergus, Ontario is hoping to beat Gurdeep, and she can play the violin and has been playing the violin for 25 years. Natasha, that's impressive.
Thank you.
Natasha,
Hi.
do you ever just, hi, good morning. Do you ever just bust it out when a friend's like telling you a sad story? You just like, Loki, take it out. You're like,
I have a tiny little violin that I carry around for that purpose.
Oh my. If you got your hands on that, Gurdeep, I would be in trouble.
It's true. Pooja tells me things all the time, and I'm like, really?
You're like, that's your
Really?
story?
Uh-huh.
Oh, Natasha, I love it. So you know how this works, right? I'm going to give you 5 trivia questions. I'll give the same 5 trivia questions to Gurdeep. Your job, you got to get more right than him. That's how you win $100 of his money. And I'm also hoping that you care about the bragging rights here, Natasha.
Oh, absolutely.
The bragging rights are priceless.
That's more than the $100, I think. So why don't you do the honors of kicking him out of the studio?
Okay, Gurdeep, I'm going to serenade you out of the office.
Oh.
Love it. I was waiting for it to play.
Oh, I really hope he loses, and then you can get out your little mini violin. Oh, that would be
Play him
great.
a sad song.
Oh, that would be so good. Okay, here we go, Natasha. Oprah Winfrey is leaving her seat on the Weight Watchers board after admitting she used weight loss drugs. Who is Oprah's best friend?
Oh, no. I'm going to pass on this one.
The Taylor Swift and Beyonce concert movies were responsible for all of the AMC movie theater chain's revenue increases last year. The AMC car company made the Pacer. In what Mike Myers film was this car featured?
Austin Powers.
Freddie Mercury's London home is for sale. If you have $38 million, that is. What planet is the closest planet to the sun?
Mars? Saturn?
Do you remember the last scene on the last episode of The Sopranos? Well, the New Jersey diner booth is now going up for auction. Who sang the song Don't Stop Believin'?
Oh, Journey.
Shohei Ohtani, the superstar baseball player, revealed last week that he got married in a private ceremony. In what Tom Cruise movie would you hear the catchphrase, "Show me the money"?
Fastball.
Okay, Natasha, we're going to get Gurdeep to come back in and see how he does with the same 5 questions. Okay. I told her to get her violin ready.
Tell her to get some celebratory violin music ready because I'm about to win.
Here we go. Oprah Winfrey is leaving her seat on the Weight Watchers board after admitting that she used weight loss drugs. Who is Oprah's best friend?
Gail King.
The Taylor Swift and Beyonce concert movies were responsible for all of the AMC movie theater chain revenue increases last year. The AMC car company made the Pacer. In what Mike Myers film was the car featured?
Austin Powers.
Freddie Mercury's London home is up for sale if you have $38 million. What planet is the closest planet to the sun?
Mercury.
Do you remember the last scene on the last episode of The Sopranos? Well, the New Jersey diner booth is going up for auction. Who sang the song Don't Stop Believin'?
Journey.
Shohei Ohtani, the superstar baseball player, revealed last week that he got married in a private ceremony. In what Tom Cruise movie would you hear the catchphrase, "Show me the money"?
Jerry Maguire.
Okay, Natasha, you got 1 out of 5 correct.
I was sweating there for a second.
Gurdeep, you got 4 out of 5 correct. They were difficult today.
Yeah, they were.
Which one did I get here?
Okay, so the one that you actually both got wrong.
It was Wayne's World, wasn't
Wayne's
it?
World
I knew as
was
soon as
the
I said it,
film.
I was like, no, it's a car they sing Bohemian Rhapsody in.
That's right. The
Yeah.
pacer was in Wayne's World, and you both said Austin Powers.
Yeah.
And the hint was in the Freddie Mercury Home for Sale, that the planet closest to the sun, Mercury.
I don't listen to the first half of your question sometimes. I was thinking about Gail King.
Natasha, in the end, you weren't able to beat Gurdeep, and you know what that means.
Can't beat Gurdeep.
Natasha, what would my celebratory violin music sound like?
You don't get that privilege.
Come on!
I love you, Natasha. Thank you so much for playing.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.